Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to preview season. So the preview season for Magic the Gathering's latest set, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, had just concluded, and we are now presented with a full buttload of commons, uncommons, rares, mythics, and basically everything. The whole set is out there, revealed, and everyone for consume. And here, I'm only interested in the commons, because Pauper is my favorite 60 card format in Magic the Gathering, and we're doing this like once every 4 months. With every new set release, maybe even quicker now, given the volume of product that WotC releases these days. And I will be skipping over like the Doctor Who set and other supplemental stuff. I mean, unless of course we have Ravnica Remastered coming in early next year, if I remember correctly. And that will have its own set of things that will hopefully change up the Pauper meta, because it's gotten pretty hostile as of late. The meta decks are really, really good, and all of the rogue decks are really, really bad against everything that's meta. So my Jund Initiative deck definitely needs some help, and hopefully Ravnica Remastered will help us out in that regard. Or, it could just be here as early as Lost Caverns of Ixalan, which does something that I believe they really should have done during our first romp through the plane, which is just show off Mexican culture and heritage, but instead it showed us more of the conquistador side of things. Basically, this is what colonialism does to a certain which is what colonialism do, and this what we do, and they use vampires to represent that. But now, here in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, we get to see more of the culture of the place, and I really love that they did that. So, right off the bat, first card here, we are not going to go by color. Holy shit. I prefer to go by color, but you know what? We're gonna do that now. Sorted by color. Abrade is a really good reprint, though, and it's a common at that. So there's that. And there we go. All right, we're going to do this by color. And first off the bat, Acrobatic Leap. And there are only 113 commons in this set, which is not a lot. I'm more used to having like 130. But I guess we're going to see what kind of draft environment WotC has for us here. Acrobatic Leap. Again, feather decks. I mean, not as if you didn't already need flying. And it does untap the creature, but it is 1 mana. But it's something to consider for the heroic decks. It does gain flying though, but it only grants a big butt, and I'd prefer to have power over defense in most situations. So pass on this one. Adaptive Gem Guard, a 4 mana 3/3. Tap 2 untap artifacts you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. I love the fact that the gnomes are now like canonically automatons. They're not actual factual people, although they're not actual factual people. Holy shit. Although 4 mana for a 3/3 in white, there is an Azorius Affinity deck that has been on the rise as of late, and this could potentially slot in there, but it's a little too slow because you can only activate its ability as a sorcery. But I have been proven wrong before, as I usually am when I do these set reviews for the Pauper format. But keep an eye out for this one. It could see play, but we're going to see. Next, we have Attentive Sunscribe, a 2 mana 2/2. So we have a Grizzly Bear. Whenever it becomes tapped, scry 1. So these two go hand in hand. This is definitely part of the draft archetype that will be in the set. So there's that. But outside of it, probably will not be seeing play anywhere else. Next, we have Cosmium Blast. Is this the obligatory? Yes. 2 mana, deal 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. I swear you can literally make an entire commander deck now out of all of these kinds of effects in white. You just deal 4 damage to something. Hell, even Iganjo can be as low as 1 white mana to just kill to deal 4 damage, rather. Not exactly kill, but deal 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. Holy shit. You can literally make an entire commander deck around it now. Because there's so many names that do this essentially the same effect. But as for constructed, competitive constructed, no. Oh my god. Next, Deconstruction Hammer, a 1 mana artifact, equipment of all things. Equip creature gets +1/+1 and has tap, sacrifice the hammer, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So you're paying 5 mana to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Otherwise, it's just a buff. Granted, 5 mana over 2 turns is a pretty good rate, but there are so many other better equipment out there, and there are better effects that, that's more efficient than this. Probably something for limited, but for constructed, probably not. Same is true for Envoy of Okinek Ahau. I hope that's how you pronounce it. There is a sub theme of cats, surprisingly, in this set, so it's really interesting to see. It's just a mana sink where it creates a gnome, 3 mana, 3/3. I mean, on curve, it doesn't survive lightning bolt, but it's a mana sink when you don't have anything else to do in limited, but in constructed, you'll probably want to pass on this one. Same is true for Family Reunion. I mean, granted, it does grant a board-wide hexproof, but who needs that when you'd rather have Indestructible? It does help you push for damage, but otherwise, no, yeah, definitely not for this one as well. Next, we have Glorifier of Suffering, a 3 mana 3/2. On ETB, you may sacrifice another creature artifact. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. So... Oh, you need to sacrifice another. Okay. And you can put the counters on him. Yeah, up to 2. So you can put both counters on him. What the hell? That's actually really good. I wonder if the black-white pestilence decks can run this thing. Something to keep an eye out for, because it hits pretty hard at 3 power. So something to keep an eye on. But if there are more efficient cards than this, but and yeah, it does require a sacrifice in order for it to become bigger. So you may choose to not run. Although you can sacrifice artifacts, and there is an artifact sub theme in this set, so yeah, it could be better. And with Azorius Affinity being on the rise, this could slot in, but it could not, after all, after me hyping it up like this, but who knows. Magic is a very fluid and flexible game after all. Next, we have Iron Paw Aspirant, a 2 mana 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, put plus +1/+1 counter on a target creature, and we can put it on itself, so it becomes a 2/3 on ETB. So it's something, but there are so many better creatures at 2 mana in Pauper. This is definitely one of them. Let's move on to the next one. Miner's not Glidewing, it's Guidewing. 1 mana 1/1, Flying Vigilance. When it dies, target creature explores. So this is a mechanic that is coming back into this set, and it's coming back with one hell of a bang. But this is definitely like a 1-drop for your limited deck. But for constructed, maybe not. Flying and Vigilance, that means it can attack and hang back to block as well. So something to keep an eye out for, especially for the Boros bully decks. They do use birds a lot in that deck, and having something like this with upside, I mean, granted, Healer's Hawk has been like a staple for those kinds of decks for a very, very long time now, because it doesn't have Vigilance, but it has Lifelink, which in this meta where Burn is apparently one of the top decks right now, so it can help, but we're going to see. Next, we have Oltec Archaeologist, a 5 mana 4/4. Already, that's tipping me off that this card will only see play in limited. On ETB, choose 1. Return target artifact card from graveyard to your hand, or use Scry 3. Definitely for limited, not for constructed. But I have been proven wrong before, and there are some heavy ramp decks that can make use of this. But if only for the Scry 3, but for the other mode, probably not. And yeah, the more I talk myself into this, the more that I don't think this will see play anywhere in constructed. Let's move on to the next one. Oltec Cloud Guard, a 4 mana 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, create a gnome. So this is 4 power across 2 bodies. Definitely not. Next, we have Oteklan Landmark, a 1 mana artifact on ETB, Scry 2, and we have the new mechanic here, Craft with Artifact. Craft is a new mechanic where, as you can see here, exile this artifact and exile another artifact you control or an artifact card from your graveyard. Return this card, transform it into under control. Craft only as a sorcery, and its transformation is Oteklan Levitator. Flying, and whenever it attacks, target attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn. Wow, you could have worded that a lot better, but it's an evasive creature, and you can set this up so that you basically will be having a veritable army of flyers that will going for the kill, and it's very cheap too. Cheap to bring down, and I accidentally pressed full screen. I did not, or rather, I clicked on the card. Did not mean to do that, but there we go. All right. I mean, it's something, but there are better cards out there. Although it is a 1-drops, and again, it's an artifact. Azorius Affinity, hello, more support even. Oh my god! But something to keep an eye out on. This might see play because 1/4 is one hell of a butt. So we'll definitely keep an eye for this one. Next, we have Petrify, another card in a long line of pacifism style effects. This affects an artifact as well, apart from creatures, and can attack a block. Abilities cannot be activated. Yep, that's as solid as it gets. Removal unlimited. Next, we have Quicksand Whirlpool, a 6-mana instant, cost 3 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature, and you just exile it. Those who would steal the blood and breath of the living will drink their fill in the sand. Oh, Sovereign Okinek Ahau. I believe Okinek Ahau is like one of the tribal cat leaders, if I remember correctly. I believe it's a Selesnya creature, if memory serves. But I'll check the hierarchy stuff out of the set after this. But we're gonna move on to the next one because this is definitely more for limited. Next, we have Soaring Sandwing, a 6-mana 3/5. When it enters the battlefield, gain 3 life. Otherwise, it has Plane Cycling. Hey, I mean, not that bad. Enters the battlefield. Wait. Holy shit, Reanimator decks are... you could have this. It does have a pretty decent butt. And Plane Cycling, in Reanimator decks, they would love to have something like this. Especially in a metagame where burn is so prevalent. Yeah, definitely keep an eye out for this one. I mean, Plane Cycling is still Plane Cycling. You can fetch dual lands out of this one. So keep an eye for this one, but otherwise, maybe no. But I have high hopes, okay? I have very, very high hopes. Next, we have Thousand Moons Crackshot, a 2-mana 2/2. On attack, you may pay 2 in a white when you do tap target creature. So you can remove blockers. She uses those bolas that is filled with Cosmium energy. So that's something. Why did I scroll up there? My mouse wheel is a little... my mouse wheel is starting to rebel on me there. So, but going back to Thousand Moons Crackshot, probably will not see play outside of limited. Then, just right beside her, Thousand Moons Infantry, 3-mana 2/4, untap it during each other player's untap step. So it has pseudo... You could have just said it has vigilance. But no. That just means that it has pseudo vigilance. So this is actually a really goddamn good blocker. And 4 toughness at that. I have high hopes that this card will see play beyond limited, but I could be wrong right here, right now. Oh my god. This is really good because it untaps during each other player's untap step. So it doesn't untap on your... I mean, it already untaps on your turn, but every other turn, like, holy shit. But keep an eye out for this one. Next, we have Tinker's Tote, a 3-mana artifact, NTB, create 2 gnomes, and then you sacrifice the tote, you gain 3 life. So, it looks underwhelming at first, but it creates 2 bodies on entry, and then just sacrifice it to gain 3, and then if you have some way to recycle this, you can just play it again. Although 3 mana is a bit steep, but I guess making it 1 mana will make it way too busted. So, yeah, I think this is just right in terms of power level. But otherwise, yeah, the mana cost makes it prohibitively clunky and constructed. But for limited, it's probably just fine. Next, we have Ancestral Reminiscence, a 4-mana sorcery, draw 3, discard 1. I have seen Paupertron decks use stuff like this because they can ramp into so much mana so easily. And they will literally take in like 6-mana draw 2s just because they can. I can definitely see this seeing play somewhere, especially with heavy ramp decks. But otherwise, you can just pass on this one because again, there are more efficient spells out there that do more with less. Next, we have Brackish Blunder, an instant return target creature to its owner's hand. If it was tapped, create a map token. So this is a God, what was that spell? An unsummon for 2 mana, and then it creates a map token, which is a new artifact token coming out of this set, where a target creature you control explores activate only as a sorcery. So this is the map tokens are said to be a massive upgrade over the clue tokens. So although the downside is you can only activate a sorcery, so unlike clue tokens where you can activate them at any time, map tokens can only be activated basically during your turn. But otherwise, for this card, definitely good removal for limited, but for constructed, maybe not. Next, we have Cogwork Wrestler, a 1-mana 1/2 with flash, and then target only TB target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-0. So a combat trick on a creature. I mean, why not? But if the creature only has, like, say 3 toughness, and then, or rather 1 toughness, and this grants -2/-0, and then it can tango with even the big creatures here. But otherwise, no. I mean, it's cute. Don't get me wrong, but probably not. Next, we have Didact Echo, a 5-mana 3/2. When enters the battlefield, draw a card. Descend 4. Didact Echo has flying as long as there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. So Descend is another new mechanic out of Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It basically cares about graveyard. It's basically Delirium without saying it's Delirium, but this cares more about permanence rather than every card type there is. So basically, if you have 4 lands, you meet Didact Echo's requirement of having flying. So there's that. Although 5 mana for a 3/2 with flying and then it draws a card. I mean, I could see this, Tron decks, Tron is usually splashing blue anyway, just for their counter magic. I can see this seeing play, but otherwise probably not. Next, we have Frilled Caveworm, a 4-mana 2/5 with Descend. Gets +2/+0 until it's a more efficient version of Didact Echo, but maybe not. I can see it seeing play somewhere in constructed, but in limited, definitely. But in constructed, probably not. Let's move on to the next one. We have Inverted Iceberg. When there's a battlefield, mill a card, then draw a card. And craft with an artifact. Okay, for 6 mana, what does it turn into? Iceberg Titan. And whenever it attacks, you may tap or untap target artifact or creature. And it's a 6/6. Holy shit. But it does cost 6 mana, so it's going to wait a while before it transforms into what it needs to become. Oh my god. Although it has a very, very powerful flip side. So there's that. It can swing games in your favor in limited, but otherwise 6 mana is one hell of a cost. Next, we have Marauding Brinefang, a 7-mana 6/7 with Ward 3 and Island Cycling. Jesus fucking Christ. As if Tolarian Terror didn't already have enough tools. Oh my god. Although you do have to hardcast this, or you have to have an Exhume engine somewhere in there. Granted, Tolarian Terror already or rather, Dimir Terror decks already have ways to do their thing. They already milled themselves quite a lot with all of the mental notes and the thought scours. So getting to Marauding Brinefang will probably not be too hard. I can definitely see this seeing play there, honestly, and they're already in blue-black anyway, so it will not be too hard on them to splash in Exhumes on top of all of the shit that they can already do. Oh my god. Oh god. I do not like where this is gonna go. Oh my god. Cryptic Serpent has literally just been power crept, and it's a 6/7. Holy shit. Oh no. This is just god. Let's move on to the next one. Oaken Siren. A 2-mana 1/2 flying vigilance with a mana ability that can only be spent to cast an artifact spell or activate an ability of an artifact source. Likely no. In constructed, limited probably, but even then it's a very low pick. Next, we have Oraska Puzzle Door, a 1-mana artifact. 1 and tap to sacrifice it. Look at the top 2, put 1 into the hand, put it into the graveyard. So 2 mana, I believe this effect is called Impulse, if I remember correctly. Although, oh, no, 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 no. Curate. There we go. Curate across across 2 turns. You could be doing some better things with your mana there. Although, oh my God, it is. Yeah, I was looking at the people here, and yeah, it is indeed. Between Quintorius's archaeological expertise and Watley's knowledge of ancient cliffs, the impossible lock finally yielded, and the door to the underground world rumbled open. And yeah, it is indeed Quintorius and Watley. Holy shit, they are doing their best Indiana Jones impression here. I will buy this card if only for the fact that Best Boy Quintorius is on the card. But holy shit! But good God, I can just use Curate rather than this instead. Let's move on to the next one. Oh God, this is a horrifying image. Out of air. 4 mana for an instant, cost 2 less to cast if it targets creature spell, counter target spell. I mean, 4 mana counters are already a thing in Magic the Gathering, but this it just becomes counter spell if it's a creature. You have stuff like exclude, which is less color intensive, so why would you have this? Definitely a low pick and limited, and I highly doubt this will not see any play in constructed. Next, we have Pirate Hat and Artifact Equipment. +1/+1, and whenever the creature attacks, draw a card, discard a card, and then equip to a pirate for 1 colorless, or equip to any other creature for 2. Okay, this is actually really goddamn good. This is basically less intensive Curious Obsession. This could see play because the +1/+1 is nothing to scoff at, especially in aggressive blue decks. But it may not see play at all. Who knows? I'm usually wrong when it comes to these types of set reviews, but at least I'm throwing my opinion out there. But as for this card in particular, probably not. For limited, maybe, but for constructed, no. Next, we have Relic's Roar. Until end of turn, target artifact or creature becomes a dinosaur artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/3 in addition to its other types. So, target artifact or creature, huh? For limited, probably will be good, but in constructed, there are so many better ways to go about your win cons. Like hell, even just having 2 Mirror Enforcers swinging in consistently for 8 damage will usually be more than enough to kill any opponent. Especially when you're uninterrupted. But otherwise, this card definitely good for limited, but for constructed, probably not. Next, we have River Herald Scout, a 2 mana 1/2, and on EB, it just explores. So Merfolk are being reintroduced back into standard with Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and River Herald Scout is one of those support pieces. And of course, a lot of Merfolk players for Commander are also very happy with this set because it's finally adding more dimensions to a very popular deck over there in Commander, but in Constructed, it's there, but it's not catching the fire that it used to. But in Standard, I can definitely see the seeing play somewhere because 1/2 survives a lot in the current Standard format. But of course, I could just be talking out of my ass right now because good God, I don't really play Standard. The one time I did play it was during Eldraine, and we all know what happened to that one. So let's move on to the next one. Sage of Days, a 3 mana 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, look at top 3 cards of the library. You may put one of them back on top, put the rest into the graveyard. So this is another one of those effects where I believe Seagate Oracle is the name of the card, and it does something similar to this, although this one can attack at least. Seagate Oracle, I believe, is a 1/3. I'll have to look up on that fact after this. But otherwise, this is a good card. Especially at the common slot. It could potentially replace Seagate Oracle because it looks at 1 card deeper and it also fills up the graveyard. It could Z-play, but again, 2 toughness, but although 3 power is nothing to scoff at. So keep an eye for this one. Next, we have Shipwreck Sentry, a 2 mana 3/3 with Defender. As long as an artifact entered the battlefield, okay, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. So you need to have had an artifact enter the battlefield. So the artifact lands in Pauper Constructed will be more than enough to basically allow her to attack on a consistent basis. And in artifact heavy decks, again, Azorius Affinity comes to mind. She can use all of the artifacts that enter the battlefield every turn to be able to attack. Next, we have Song of Stupefaction, a 2-mana enchantment aura. Enchant target creature or vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, mill 2. And then Fathomless Descent, enchanted permanent, gets -X, -4, X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So it's a pseudo removal spell. And it even has You May Mill. Definitely something for limited. It will be very funny, especially if you catch your opponent off guard with this. Takes out the blocker, or rather, yeah, takes out a decent blocker out of the way, and but otherwise for constructed, and there are so many better ways to go about this. But it will be very funny though. Next, we have Unlucky Drop, 4 mana. For an instant, target artifact or creature's owner puts it at the top or bottom of their library. You either Fate Seal them or they disappear for good. In limited, these types of effects are really, really good, but in constructed, there are more efficient ways to go about this. Next, we have Water Wind Scout, a 3 mana 2/2 Merfolk Scout. Enters the battlefield, you just make a map token. Again, the common that has the set mechanic. It's usually very, very common, as we can see here. But 3 mana, though, a little much. So pass on that one. Next, we have Waylaying Pirates, a 4 mana 3/3. When enters the battlefield, if you control an artifact, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So it will not untap until you remove the stun counter, and we have a mommy here in the center. Anyway, let's move on to the next one before my mind lingers way too far. We have Acolyte of Aclazots, a 3 mana 1/4, and it's a sack outlet. And the question on everyone's mind, does this go into aristocrats? Yes, albeit very, very slowly, because you need to be able to untap him. WotC knew what they were doing. Oh my god. Something for the budget-minded commander players, because a sacrifice outlet is still a sacrifice outlet, all things considered. So keep an eye out for this one for commander in particular. Next, we have Another Chance, a 3 mana instant. You may mill 2 cards and return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. That is an insane amount of value. Holy shit. But it may not see play, even if I'm pretty hyped for this card. Next, we have Broodrage Mycoid. I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly. That's another sub-theme here in Lost Caverns of Ixalan. There's a lot of fungus in this set. 4 mana 4/3 at the beginning of your end step. So this triggers like every go-around. If you descended this turn, create a 1/1 black fungus creature token with this creature cannot block. So it creates it's an army in a can, but albeit very, very slowly and very, very conditional. Otherwise, it just dies to Lightning Bolt. So probably not. But for limited, definitely a win con to look forward to. Because some limited games can get grindy to the point where you can have an army in a can like this work. Other than that, let's move on to the next one. Deadweight, reprinted once again. Where my enchanted graveyard gets -2/-2. So this is just a removal spell that gets by indestructibility. What more could you want? This is, I mean, if this figure can see play in Pauper, so can Deadweight. Next, we have Deathcap Marionette, a 2 mana 1/1, and when it's a battlefield, mill 2 cards. So this fuels the graveyard, which is apparently very common in standard right now. Other than that, mill 2, fuels the graveyard centric decks. Otherwise, I don't think this will see play too heavily. Maybe not. Again, because red is such a prevalent color in graveyard based decks anyway. I don't think this will be there, but we shall see. I mean, it is a Death Toucher, which is an ability that makes it very, very hard to deal with in combat for limited, but for constructed, probably not. Next, we have Deep Goblin Skulltaker, a 3 mana 2/2 with Menace. Ooh. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, it just keeps getting bigger. Holy shit. This is actually really goddamn good. Simply because it has Menace. So it's not easy to block. And if you descended, it will get a counter. You need to be a heavy graveyard deck if you're going to build around this fucker. Holy shit. Look at that menacing bastard right there. Oh my god. 3 mana is very easy to get by in Pauper. It just land Dark Ritual it out. Granted, you need to have descended in order for him to, do more damage than what he does. But otherwise, yeah, keep an eye out for this guy. He could see play somewhere. I just don't know where yet. Next, we have Echo of Dusk, a 2-mana 2/2, a Vampire Spirit. That's, oh my god, that's a horrifying image right there. Ooh. And I'm just realizing some of the names here are Spanish. Ooh, they commission people from there. These could have Mexican. Some of the drawings, at least, or rather, some of the art can have Mexican influences to it. So we'll see. WotC releases you know, artist interviews every once in a while. So I hope we get an artist journey through the creation process of this set sooner or later. But going back to the card before that, Tangent, as long as there are 4 more permanents, gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. So it becomes a 3/3, and it needs to see 4 permanent cards. This is actually really good. Although you need to be able to set up your graveyard in order for it to do what it needs to do, but otherwise probably not. Next, we have Fanatical Offering, another draw. Oh my god, as if we didn't already have enough of these. Deadly Dispute was not enough. WotC, really? Oh my god. I mean, I don't need to sell you anymore if I'm comparing this to Deadly Dispute. It's a good card, okay? As if we didn't already have enough of these effects. So let's move on to the next one before my headache gets any worse. Next, we have Fungal Fortitude, a flash enchantment where target enchanted creature gets +2/+0. And then when enchanted creature dies, it comes back. Holy shit. Although it comes back tapped, but you wouldn't mind that, now would you? Something to keep an eye out for, and art is utterly horrifying, but good god, the effect is really goddamn good. Something to keep in mind, but will likely not see play. Next, we have Greedy Freebooter, a 1-mana 1/1. When it dies, cry 1 and make a treasure token. That is Sacrifice Fodder if I ever saw one. Holy shit, that's a goddamn good death trigger. Holy crap. I'll definitely keep an eye out for this one. Holy shit, this is actually a really goddamn good effect on a 1-mana 1/1. Let's move on to the next one here. We have Join the Dead. Target creature gets -5/-5. Descend 4. It gets -10/-10 instead if you have 4 or more permanents. A little steep to set up because you need 4 permanents, but probably by the time you're at this mana value, or rather at this amount of mana, you'll definitely be killing creatures left and right with this spell. Otherwise, I mean, -5/-5 is already damn good enough. And there's a reason Dismember, well, although Dismember is like the bar to clear for stuff like this, so this just Dismember, slightly worse Dismember. Keep an eye out for this one, but it may not see play after all. Who knows? Because Mono Black Control can easily turbo this thing out with Dark Ritual or 2. Next, we have Mephitic Draught, a 2-mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield or put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So this is just Blood Fountain. This is just slightly easier. This is not really slightly easier to cast Blood Fountain because Blood Fountain is just a 1-mana artifact. What was that card? Oh god, Ichor Wellspring. There we go. This Ichor Wellspring with a color pip. There we go. Oh, I got that one right. But although it needs to have come from the battlefield, yeah, that's also what Ichor Wellspring does. Holy shit. As if Grixis Affinity didn't already have enough toys. Holy shit. Keep an eye for this one as well. Next, we have Primordial Gnaw, a 5-mana 5/2, and when it dies, discover 3. So Discover is another new mechanic out of this set. This is Pseudo Cascade. Yeah, exile cards from top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less, cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So 5 mana for a 5/2, that's like that stat line is pretty goddamn great, all things considered, but it dies to a lot of things. But it does quote-unquote cascade into something that costs 3 or less, so yeah, there's some upside into it, but otherwise probably will not see playing constructed. Next, we have Rampaging Spiketail, a 6-mana 5/6. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn with Swamp Cycling, by the way. So all of these like overcosted creatures all have cycling, so these are like the ones from Lord of the Rings, but those cost only 1 mana. These all cost 2, so something to keep in mind. you can just use it to cycle instead. And now that I'm thinking about it, Living End just got way more toys to to add to their toolbox of creatures again. Oh my god. Oh my god. Those kind living end, is it Living End or Living Death? It's one of those two. Oh my god. Those guys will never stop getting new toys. Oh, excuse me. Next, we have Ray of Ruin, a 5 mana rather, sorcery, exile target creature, vehicle, or non-basic land, and then you scry 1. Probably not. Probably not. A little too much even for limited. But if you're like running low on options, this is definitely something to keep an eye out on. Next, we have Screaming Phantom, a 3 mana 2/2 flying creature. When it attacks, mill a card. That's it. Unimpressive, honestly. Move on to the next one. Next, we have Skullcap Snail, a 2 mana 1/1. When there's a battlefield, target opponent exiles a card from their hand. Exile from hand, that's a bit too... and they get to choose? No, not even for limited. Oh my god, I'm just reading flavors. Oh, come on, aren't regular snails gross enough? Now you have a fungus snail. Oh my god, it is a fungus snail. I'm just reading it now. Well, let's move on to the next one before my mind goes horrible places. We have Tithing Blade, a 2 mana artifact. When it enters a battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So it's a slow edict, but it has craft with creatures. So exile this artifact, exile a creature control or a creature card from a graveyard, return it transformed. What does it craft into? Consuming Sepulcher. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it's something. I mean, it's very cheap. It's an edict, so it definitely sets you up for it. Yeah, I know you need to exile a creature you control. Ah, shit. So it's a heavy cost because it's 5 mana, but it does come attached to an edict. And, edicts are always welcome, especially for Black X decks in Pauper, because boggles are a thing. So there's that. And, there's inevitability with lose 1, gain 1 every turn. So keep an eye out for this one. Next, we have Veto Inquisitor, 4 mana 3/3 for 1 black mana. Sacrifice another creature or enchant or artifact. You put a 1/1 counter on it, and she will gain menace. That's actually a really goddamn good effect. If only if you can turbo her out fast. Yeah, if you can turbo her out fast, she will definitely become a menace on the field. And she does have menace if you do, if and only if you manage to do her sacrifice thing. But otherwise, probably not. I already talked about the braid. Always good to see this thing being reprinted and with new art every time. So that's that. Next we have Ancestor's Aid, a 2 mana instant. Target creature makes a treasure token. I mean, this is definitely something. First strike is nothing to sneeze at. Makes your creature better at combat, and the treasure token attached, definitely something to keep an eye out for. Next, we have Brazen Blade Master, a 3 mana 2/3. When it attacks, while you control 2 or more artifacts, gets +2/+1. So pirates are a sub theme in the limited environment of this set, and if this guy's any indication, pirates make a lot of treasures. Or with the plethora of map support here on Lost Caverns of Ixalan, you can definitely see it swinging in for 4 every turn. So it becomes a 4/4 if you control 2 or more artifacts. So something to keep an eye out on for limited, but in constructed, same with Veto's Inquisitor. Although granted, Veto's Inquisitor is a harder build around than Brazen Blade Master, because this is just something that will happen naturally as the game goes along, while Veto's Inquisitor needs some setup. So keep an eye out for both of these cards. Hell, even this bottom row in particular, keep an eye out for them. In Ancestor's Aid I can feel this seeing play in Feather decks, because it makes a treasure token solely for the fact that it makes a treasure token. So something to keep in mind. Let's finally move on to the next page. This will be the last. Burning Sun Cavalry, a 2 mana 2/2. So Grizzly Bear, when it attacks or blocks while you control a dinosaur, it gets +1/+1. So it becomes a 3/3. And holy shit, that's actually a really goddamn good curve if you manage to build a dinosaur deck. It's also another sub theme within the draft environment of this set. Holy shit, that's actually a really good support piece for that. But in constructed, probably standard will be seeing dinosaurs again thanks to Ixalan. So this will definitely see play there. So, but in Pauper, probably not. Next, Child of the Volcano, 4 mana 3/3 with Trample. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, it grows bigger. I mean, not bad, but there are better ways to go about this, I think. But who knows if this will see play anywhere, because you need to have graveyard set up for this one, and mono red will definitely not get you there because a lot of its draws are impulse based, and you'd rather be aggressive. So this will definitely be more well supported if you have, like, say, black mana added into this mix. Next, we have Daring Discovery, a 4 mana sorcery. Not 4 mana, it's 5 mana sorcery, where up to 3 target creatures cannot block this turn, and then you discover 4. Ooh. Exile cards, mana value 4 or less. That's actually. So you're basically going to cascade into something smaller. I wonder if you can, like, literally build into a cascade chain where it's like discover 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just poop out a lot of stuff on board. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be very janky and will be a very, very livid pipe dream in my head that will never come through to existence here in real life. But otherwise, for constructed, probably not. Next we have Dinotomaton. Hopefully I pronounced that one right. Is that its mouth? It has a mouth, but it cannot scream because it has no vocal cords. 4 mana 4/3 with Menace. That's actually really that's a goddamn good keyword on a very aggressive creature. When it's a battlefield, target creature control gains Menace. So this goes hand in hand with Burning Sun Cavalry. Cool. Yeah, I can definitely see these two being in the same draft deck together, but in constructed, probably not. Next, we have Itals Favor, a 3 mana enchantment aura. Enchanted creature control, when enters battlefield, discover 3. And enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and gains trample. So it cascades for something slightly smaller than it. So there's that, but otherwise, probably not. And now for the card that broke a lot of people. Goblin Tomb Raider. Monkey Croft, as I prefer to call him. We finally have Goblin Guide in Pauper. Because it only needs you to be able to control an artifact. And it becomes a 2/2 with haste. Okay? Literally, Great Furnace plus this, you have a 1 mana 2/2 with haste on turn 1. You guys have absolutely no idea how fucking busted that is. All of the 1-drop slots in Pauper will now significantly change because of Monkey Croft. Definitely. If this has an alternate art, buy it. If this has a foil, go for it. Because good God, this will be the chase common out of this set. It is that good. I am not kidding. I wish I was kidding. But this Monkey Goblin will see play everywhere where the artifact lands are legal. Oh boy. Get your lightning bolts ready for this thing. Move on to the next one. We have Hotfoot Gnome, a 3 mana 3/1 with haste, and then tap to have another creature gain haste until end of turn. Hey, that's actually not too bad. Unfortunately, it can't protect itself pretty well. Excuse me. Next, we have Idol of the Deep King, a 3 mana artifact with flash. Deals 2 damage to any target. Okay, what does it craft into? Sovereign's Oh god, that's a word. Makwahutli. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. With the limited amount of Mexican that I can tell, or rather, this is like Mayan or Incan. I'm pretty sure Ixalan is more Incan than it is Mayan, but you know, some people tend to bleed the two, and I'm unfortunately one of them. So it's just a chainsaw. You don't call it anything else. When enters a battlefield, attach it to target creature control, and gets +2/+0. No. Next, we have Panicked Altisaur. Oh no! An Altisaur again! A 5 mana 4/5 with reach. I mean, the previous Altisaur did have reach, so I'm not surprised that this has reach as well. Then tap it to deal 2 damage to each opponent. Early Sun Empire expeditions learned the hard way that some of the surface dinosaurs were particularly ill-suited to the cavern's close environments. Wow, they were stupid. Excuse me. I'm going to have a small water break while we're at it. I'm going to have a drink right here, right now. I will not cut this, by the way. And I am officially out of water. I'm almost done anyway, I think. No, I am very far from it. Hopefully I can power through this before my throat gives out. Next, we have Plundering Pirate, a 3-mana 3/2. When enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Again, like I said, a lot of pirates in this set make treasure tokens anyway, or care about treasures or artifacts. So I will definitely see this in a limited deck in play somewhere. But who knows if this will see play in actual constructed. Next, we have Rumbling Rockslide, a 4-mana sorcery where it deals damage equal to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. No, that's a little too slow, and there are more efficient ways to go about this. No, Scred does what this does, but only for 1 mana. Although, granted, you have to build your entire deck with snowlands, but otherwise, no. There are better ways to go about this. Let's just go on to the next one. We have Seismic Monstrosaur, 6-mana, 6/5, Mountain Cycling, okay. And then for 3-mana, sack a land, draw a card. I mean, it's something, but otherwise, probably not. It is Mountain Cycling, so something to keep in mind, but otherwise, probably no. Next, we have Sunfire Torch, a 1-mana artifact equipment. Target creature gets +1/+1, and then whenever equipped creature attacks, you may sacrifice it, and then you deal with 2 damage on any target. Oh, okay. I mean, it's something, but otherwise, probably not. Next, we have Sunshot Militia, 2-mana 1/3, tap 2 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control. It deals 1 damage to each opponent, activate only as a sorcerer. It can tap itself, so it can, so it just needs to tap one other thing in order to do 1 damage. And having 3 toughness means that it's going to be blocking a lot of stuff. But again, it only dies to like the highest caliber of burn spells, lightning bolt and whatnot. But otherwise, in combat, it survives a lot, and having 3 toughness means a lot in the Pauper format. But the effect is a little too slow. Next, we have Tectonic Hazard, sorcery, deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. So, as if End the Festivities wasn't enough, we finally have another copy of it. As if we don't have enough board wipes in red. Holy shit. A lot of Pauper players have been saying that red got a lot of support in this set, and yeah, the Goblin Pirate, what was it? Yeah, Monkeycroft, and then now this Tectonic Hazard. Red decks are eating good in this set. Definitely buy this one. Next, we have Volatile Wondergriff, a 2-mana 2/2 Grizzly Bear. When it becomes tapped, discard a card, draw a card. You could have just said, tap, discard, and draw, but okay, sure. If you want it that way, then that's too slow then. Finally, moving on to the green cards, we have Armored Kincaller, a 3-mana 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a dinosaur in your hand. If you do, or if you control another dinosaur, you gain 3 life. So, you need to have revealed a dinosaur, or you need to control a dinosaur so that you can gain 3 life. I mean, it's something, but there are probably better ways to go about it. Next, we have Basking Capybara, which is possibly the most serene art I've ever seen a capybara be in. Well, granted, capybaras are serene to begin with. Descend 4 gets +3/+0 as long as there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard. So yeah, this is a really good card. It blocks well, and I mean, granted, you need to be able to set this up so that you have permanents in your graveyard, and then it swings for like 4. But keep an eye out for this one, but it'll probably not see the heavy play that I expect it to. Next, we have Cavern Stomper, a 6 mana 7/7. On ATB, you scry 2, and then for mana sink, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. Curve filler for limited, but in constructed, probably not. Next, we have Disturb Slumber, where for 2 mana until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 4/4 dinosaur. Oh, excuse me. With reach and haste, and it must be blocked. Oh shit! So this is a blowout and a half. Oh my god! I'm telling you, the wall just blinked. Yeah, because it's an ancient dinosaur. Holy shit! This is really funny if you can pull it off, but otherwise, I'm probably not. Oh my god! Let's move on to the next one. Here it is. Whatley's final strike. Yep. Veto is canonically dead. Because Watley killed him. Oh no. It's a fight spell with small upside because it assuming you're going to use this on a creature that can easily kill another creature, and I'm assuming in the story, or rather in the flavor of this, Watley gains the power necessary to be able to kill Veto. So yeah, it's the obligatory fight spell that green gets with heavily limited environment. So yeah, although 3 mana it's a bit much because usually these fight spells cost only 2 or 1, but otherwise no. Next we have Legends of the Hidden Temple, a 3 mana instant where you reveal top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card and or land card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. Now, Element Farsight still exists in the Pauper format, and not a lot of decks run it. This cost 3 times as much, and it's doing what that card is essentially trying to do as well. But Legends of the Hidden Temple is definitely not going to compare. Next, we have Caslem's Stone Tree, a 3 mana artifact where on ETB, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped, put the rest on the bottom in a random order, and then you craft with a cave. So this is a build around with the new land type that comes out of the set, and it turns into Caslem's Strider, a vanilla creature, 5/5. I mean, 6 mana. If it's a really good mana sink. And it ramps you-ish, so it's something to keep an eye out on. I may just replace the Geomancer's Gambits that I've had in my deck for a very, very long time. Although, granted, this is a build-around because you need caves if you just want a vanilla 5/5. Although, granted, 5 power is a lot. Although, again, it doesn't have anything else going for it, so it's definitely a powerful card, but I don't know where else to put it. I mean, again, I'm looking at the green symbol. I have a Jund Initiative deck. This could be what I'm looking for, because it allows me to filter my deck 6 cards deep and look for a land, and it puts any land from among them onto the battlefield tap. Although I will have to add caves into my Jund Initiative deck if I'm going to put this in there. Next, we have Malamat Brawler, a 2 mana 2/2 cat warrior. Whenever it attacks, target attacking creature gains trample. So it can give itself trample, or any other creature for that matter. But otherwise, for limited, yes, but for constructed, probably not. Next, we have Malamat Scythe, a 3 mana artifact equipment with flash. You attach it to a creature and they will get +2/+2. Otherwise, you normally equip it for 4. So you're only really casting this for flash. It's an expensive but permanent combat trick. Excuse me. Next, we have Malamat Veteran, a 5 mana 5/4 with trample. And then if you have this, if you have Descend 4, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature whenever it attacks. Holy shit, that's actually a really good finisher for your limited deck. And good god, this is like the most swole Catman I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Next, we have Mineshaft Spider, totally not a Minecraft reference. Let's see here. I was totally distracted by whatever this is. This looks like AI art. All things considered. This looks like something, no, but otherwise, yeah, you cannot fake something like this. This just either really good 3D art, although there was an issue recently with WotC where one of their artists was like, they were given a slap on the wrist because because they were using AI art, and WotC is very particular about the art that they use on their cards, and they make sure that there's like no AI influence on it whatsoever. But yeah, it looked like it was AI art in the at first because of all of the shading involved. Because I'm used to looking at AI art now, and you can spot some things, but this is a dinosaur, and it's very hard to fake stuff like this. But who knows how fast technology has evolved over time. But before going on that tangent, let's look at Mineshaft Spider. Totally not. Somebody is going to mispronounce this as Minecraft Spider. 4 mana 3/4 with reach. Enters the battlefield. You may mill 2 cards, so it's either just a blocker or something to set your graveyard up with. But probably not. Obligatory Spider, green gets every draft environment. Next, we have Nurturing Bristleback. So this is the Photocycler of the cycle of common creatures that you can cycle for value. Although on ETB it does create a little baby because it's a 5/5 and it creates a baby 3/3. But for Living Death in higher powered formats, this will likely see play. But for Pauper, that's a very hefty build around. Although I am thinking of like retooling my entire Pauper deck now to just include all of the creature cyclers and just be janky as possible with it. Holy shit! Although, granted, the Ixalan creatures are slightly better at going about it, more so than the ones from Lord of the Rings. So we'll get there when we get there. But for now, keep an eye out for this one for reanimation decks. Next, we have Over the Edge, a sorcery. Target creature control explores and explores again, or you just destroy a target artifact or enchantment. It's slow because it's a sorcery, but getting to explore twice is insane value. Keep an eye out for this one for your limited deck, but for constructed, probably not. Next, we have Pathfinding Axejaw. Nothing to do with the Pathfinder tabletop RPG. When it's a battlefield, it just explores. 4 mana for a 4/3 for this effect. Definitely good for limited, but for constructed, probably not. Next, we have Poison Dart Frog, which is this looks like the most harmless thing you can ever look at, but trust me when I say that these things can kill you. Oh my god, and it could gain Death Touch if you sink mana into it, and it can one of that mana can even be from itself. Oh my god, Raga Draga players are going to be livid with this little cute little boy right here. But for constructed, for a 60 card constructed, probably not. Next, we have River Herald Guide. So Merfolk once again showing off that they can be Simic. 3 mana 3/1. When there's a battlefield, it explores. So another Merfolk that explores on ETB would go good with. I believe that was a blue Merfolk that explores on ETB as well. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Next, we have Seeker of Sunlight, a 1 mana Merfolk that explores. But it is a mana sink, and yeah, this is definitely a good curve starter for your limited Merfolk deck. But for constructed, probably not. Next, we have Staggering Size. Oh well, the temple is due for a new roof anyhow. Yeah, you make a capybara that big. Oh my god. But probably for constructed, probably not. Next, we have Walk with the Ancestors, a 5 mana sorcery. Return up to 1 target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, and then you discover 4. So you cascade into something that costs 4 or less, and then this is a horrifying art, but it's actually really cool because the name Walk with the Ancestors, it's basically walking with probably one of its older brethren. Holy shit. Now we move on to the artifacts, so we're almost done here. We have Buried Treasure for 2 mana artifact treasure. Note that. Sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color, and then 5 exile from the graveyard, discover 5. Activate only as a sorcery. As if Tron didn't already have enough toys, it gets this. Holy shit. This is a really goddamn good card. So if you have the mana, so this is usually on turn 3, if you assemble Tron that quickly, this is one hell of a mana. This is one hell of a cascade. Holy shit. And Discover 5 is big. You can land on a lot of cards, on a lot of really powerful cards that cost 5 or less in the Pauper format. And Tron is eating good with this card. Let's move on to the next one. Cartographers Companion, a 3-mana 2/1. On ETB, it makes a treasure token. Not treasure token, it makes a map token. And it's a gnome. Something to keep in mind for limited. Same with Compass Gnome here. These two probably go hand in hand in limited. But I don't think either of them will see any significant play in Pauper Constructed. Next, we have Disruptor Wanderglyph, a 4-mana 3/4. Whenever it attacks, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. So, sideboard tech for limited, but in constructed, there are cheaper ways to go about this. Next, we have Hunter's Blowgun. I wondered where the blowgun was, because this is something that I'm not sure if it was the Mayans or the Incans. There was some indigenous tribe that basically use blowguns if they don't want to use bows and arrows, and they use it to hunt. So yeah, equipped creature has death touch on turn, otherwise it has reach. Yeah, that's a really flavorful way to go about this. That's amazing. Holy shit. Ow, I think a wasp just stung me, Captain. Oh no. Last words by Nerk Dubin. Oh no, he died it. Oh no, let's move on to the next one. Runaway Boulder. Yay, the Indiana Jones reference. 6-mana flash. When it enters the battlefield, deals 6 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Then you just cycle for 2. Run, Hardies, run, or we'll end our days as pirate paste. Oh my god, that's hilarious. That it's at flash speed too. So Tron, you are eating well damn good. Holy shit. Now we go on to the caves. Yeah, we're going to the caves now. Yeah, hidden courtyard, hidden cataract, hidden necropolis, hidden nursery, captivating cave, and promising vein. So let's read what each of these do. I mean, all of them say essentially the same thing, where for a mana cost, excuse me, you sacrifice the cave and then you discover you discover for X. So yeah, these are all really goddamn good. Granted, they enter tapped, so you're going to really have to, heed the cost of your mana. You're really going to have to heed the cost that these things enter tapped, and then if you can't do anything else, you just you discover and activate all the sorcery. So it's something to keep in mind. It's a mana sink when you have nothing else to do, but otherwise this is a really good cycle of lands. Next, we have Captivating Cave. It's basically what the Modern Horizons 1 land was. Yeah. Sacrifice it, put 2+1 counters on a target creature, and it's also a filter for mana. Holy shit. This is definitely something to keep in mind for Pauper moving forward. And finally, we have Promising Vein. 1 in Sacket, search your library for basic land, put on a battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle. So this is just a standard legal upwards version of what was that card? Shire Terrace. So this is a lot easier to get than Shire Terrace now. Now that this is going to be printed in a standard legal set. So yeah, a lot of decks are going to be eating good because of Lost Caverns of Ixalan. There are a lot of good well, white barely gets anything. There's a lot of good, basically blue onwards. There are a lot of really good toys for the Pauper format, people to experiment with. And I'm definitely going to see a huge uptick in red because of Monkeycroft. But otherwise, yeah, I'm definitely excited for Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Who knows what it'll do to shake up the format until, of course, we get Ravnica remastered. But otherwise, if you like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles!